Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson-Hirst of Chatterbox Quilts, and today I want to talk about stitching in the ditch, specifically how to get the best results. Now, in the past when I've stitched in the ditch, sometimes I jump out of the ditch. I'm sure this has happened to you. So you get something like this, right? And it's pretty obvious, right? I don't like seeing that, so I will take my seam ripper and I'll take it out and I'll start again. So how can you avoid this? Well, you want to stay in the ditch, right? That's the first thing. And to do that, you want to use a stitch in the ditch foot. So this is what I have on the Janome CM17 right now. And thanks to Janome Canada for letting me use this machine to share this information with you today. This foot has a guide that will run along in your ditch. Okay, so it's going to run along the ditch. And when I put the foot down, okay, it's going to be right in that ditch, and I can keep it right in there as I go along, and that will keep me, hopefully, in the ditch, okay? But sometimes if I get a little ahead of myself, I can still pop out of the ditch sometimes. It doesn't happen nearly as often as it used to, but if I happen to do that, one of the other things that I can do when I'm stitching in the ditch is use a lightweight thread. So today I've got in some wonderful Invisifill. So that's 100 weight polyester thread. So if I do pop out of the ditch, you're not going to see it as much. So let's give this a go and let's see if we pop out of the ditch what it looks like. So that guide is keeping me right in that ditch because it goes right in against the, in this case, binding is what I've got on here in this particular project. But let's see what happens when I jump out of the ditch, okay? Which might be tough to do with that guide. All right. Okay, so I had to make a real effort to jump out of the jump out of the ditch, okay? So I can still see my stitching there, and the reason I can see this is it's a different color thread, of course, and you can see where I was in the ditch here. All right, little thin stitches there with that thin thread, but this is not nearly as noticeable as this is, and usually if I'm stitching in the ditch like in this situation, I would probably have the same color fabric here, so you wouldn't notice as much either. But certainly using a thinner thread is not nearly as obvious as with a thicker thread, and that stitch in the ditch foot really helps. So if you don't have one of those for your sewing machine, check and see if you can get one for your sewing machine brand and model, because it's a real game changer when you're stitching in the ditch. Now, if you're wondering what else I do with the stitch in the ditch foot, don't worry, I got you covered. Check out this video that has all the information that you need. And for more helpful quilting information, be sure to go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.